We are again, folks. After a couple hours of studying and deliberation, I come to a place where I feel that I can speak. We are in such a dilemma in the United States of America that there's no doubt that God is going to have to judge the people of the United States of America, who at one time were unionized. We were joined together. I'm not talking about like the union of money making. I'm talking about we were unionized together to pull all the same way in the United States of America. Our industries belong to our people, like Henry Ford. Just think, the whole world has automobiles because of Henry Ford. Like our great man that made the electricity, figured it out. And our whole being is owed for the electricity we turn on every day to this man, to Edison, and other things that were done. Our great steel mills were run by our people. There was a time when man knew that we needed to do like the ant. And as I have studied today much on different subjects, all the way from Genesis to Revelation, I have gone from page to page, book to book, announcement to announcement. And I find all, A-L-L, every single one of the places that where man was doing good. He was doing proper. And then he allowed something to get in the way. One of the things was greed. Do you know that an ant will not let an ant of another colony come on their property? If another ant from another colony wants to come on their property, they kill that ant. And they let those other ants know in that other colony, hey, you ain't coming in our colony. You know, that ant might be a little bitty ant coming into a big ant's colony, and he may look like he's harmless. But you let him stay there a while, and he'll take over that colony. But no ant's going to let another ant stay there. Let me tell you this. We are people on this earth. It just so happens I'm in the United States of America. That we fought. We fought the British. We fought the English. We fought the Indians to our shame. And we fought each other to our shame. And we divided the country into two pieces to our shame. And we ought to be all unionized, all one America. God gave us this land, this country, for us to develop. In God we trust. Is that true or isn't that true? Do we trust in God? Let's take a look at the ant. He is the most laborious insect in existence. He has never, ever strayed from what God told him to do, made him to do. He is the picture of what Adam would have been had Adam not sinned. He's the picture of what mankind would have been if mankind had not sinned. Why does the ant thrive? No matter what you do, you can get all the insecticides in the world. You might move the ant from one place to another, but you're not going to extinct the ant. The industrialness of an ant is the most highly industrial situation in the whole world. There is nothing more in this whole world that is an industrialist as the ant. And God made mankind to be that kind of an industrialist. But man didn't follow the ant. He allowed some things to come in place. The ant collects food in proper seasons. Americans used to do that. I could go right now to my mother and father-in-law's house in Maine and open them basement doors down to that cellar. I guarantee it. I bet you a donut to a nickel that there is probably enough food down there to go a year or two in cans, in jars that my wife's mother put up 20, 30 years ago. Still edible. Majority of it still edible. Properly canned in there. She made provision every day to put food in there for the winter. So there was food for the winter. All winter there was food, whether they worked or not, because they put up in the summertime when they collected food in the proper season. This is the third thing talked about the ant does. He collects food in the proper season. And another thing the ant had never, ever changed its way in. It is fond of its young. It takes care of its young. It takes, I tell you what, you get you a long piece of straw and you find you a little young ant. You go fooling around with that straw, you're going to get, that straw's going to get attacked by some big ants. They're not going to allow you to fool around with that little ant. They're going to take care of their own. And they take care of their young. That's why they still prosper. That's why they still do what they do. They haven't strayed from the way God made for them. God made them a way and He said, this is what you do. They have keen foresight for others. They actually have keen foresight for others. When they come out and they find a morsel and they're carrying it back to the house, they're letting off pheromones to others saying, hey, follow this trail and there's a hunk of something back there that you can get a bite of and bring it back to the house. And we'll have it when the wintertime comes and the cold and the ability to not be able to go out in the elements anymore. We'll have to stay down there and we'll have to feed and eat and multiply and do what we need to do to preserve ourselves. That's why the ant has flourished on the earth and mankind has done the opposite. The Bible said, look unto the ant, you sluggard. Look at what they do. I showed you how to do that all the way from the Garden of Eden down through. But you haven't done it. And then, let's see what they do. They have keen foresight. They work quietly without a show. There's no ant shows off. There are no a big ant and little ants. There are ants that are workers, that are hard workers, and then there are ants that are warriors. And just our American system was built on a system like the ant originally. But we have forgot where we were, and we have tried to go where we don't belong. And we have allowed other ants from other parts of the world even to come in here and put industries. Their motive is different than we think. We think they came over here, some big, huge car company. The influx, an area when it comes in, with their own people who speak their own language, who follow their own gods, who do not follow the God of heaven, who will not even begin to think about the God of heaven. So they bring their gods with them, their idols. Some have things called Buddhas. Some have things called Confucius. Some have many, many other gods. We have allowed them to come into our ant colony God gave us as American human beings. God gave us, He did bring it from other countries. Yes, we all came from other countries on a ship. We came here to start a colony like the ants did that we don't have invaders in. And did pretty good for years. So the invaders now have found out that they can't come in by force and take America over that easy. But they can come in underlying in different places. By chance, last week, I looked at the 10 most wealthy men in the world. Out of those 10 men, I did not see one man that was not of Asian persuasion. They were not American. They're not Asian persuasion. I mean, they're Asian persuasion. They have companies in America. They have brought companies into America. They have a system that's working. They're going to come to a small county, small spot on the earth like the county I live in. We have several right now plants in our town. Some do not even speak English. And they're sitting there doing business. And they're growing. But that's not the big problem. The big problem is like a huge country like China, who is invading the American soil now, to bring their companies here where they can make products here and they can do away with the tariff, they can do away with the shipping, they can do away with all of that, and they can draw the same amount of money as they're drawing with all of that other added to it, which lines their pockets with 90% profit rather than 20% profit or 30%. Now they come in here and they talk officials in counties like our county. They talk them into giving them a tax-free grant for 8 or 10 years that they can come and do business in this country, take the money back to their country, and for 8 or 10 years do what the average American can't do, live tax-free for 8 or 10 years on that property, and make multi-billions. I tell you what you do. you trace the foreign cars in this country back to the owner of that company, you're going to find an Asian man, and you're going to find that he is a $100 billion man or $400 billion man. I looked him up the other day. All 10 of those guys, they have hundreds of billions, not millions. They're 100 billionaires. And they live sumptuously in their palaces with their great cars and their great yachts that they can go out and encase the world with. But this is how they've done it. They've snuck in. They've said to the county agent in a county, look, how about waiving this particular deal? How about changing this right here? You or I, as a contractor, go out here to build a house. We are forced by the county to do exactly what they say to do, even if it's wrong. And some of it is. But we're forced to do it. And if we fail to do that, they're going to come against us and make a case against us and end up breaking us broke, completely broke and destitute, because they want us to do the way they want. So here comes this big company in. This big company knows all the rules and regulations, but they know what money will do. So they subvert the head guys, and they pour money in their pocket. And they pour money in their pocket. And they say, well, waive this. Well, how about waiving this? Well, how about waiving this on this sewer line? How about waiving this on this electrical deal? How about waiving this on this? And they go to the higher-ups and the higher-ups and the higher-ups, and they pour some dollars in there. It comes down the road 2-3 years later. The company wants to do this or that, and they say to the same people, we're going to do this, and then people say, hey, our laws don't allow that. And so they say to that man, you remember when we were building this, how we kind of let you have $20,000 or $40,000 or $100,000 over here to prosper you? If you don't sign this off, we're going to expose you. This is a true fact. This can be proven all over the country. They have corrupted officials. They have corrupted officials in the United States government so that they can live in high, mighty palaces and do whatever they do at night when they're not supposed. When they work the shortest work day of anybody in America. They have the longest vacations of anybody in America, and they make more money than anybody in America by telling America what they can do and what they can't do. And they're being funneled great sums of money by outside entities to try to invade the nest that's of America. We're like an anthill in America on this earth. We're like a nest of ants that were well joined together, that would not part. Now I can tell you something about the ant. The ant have keen foresight for others. Two ways they do that. They watch good for those that are good. They also watch for an ant that does not do what it's supposed to do. When they see that ant, they kill it. Dead. Done away with. That's the end of it. So they have that kind of foresight. They work quietly without show. Everyone knows what he is supposed to do. Have you ever watched a stream of ants coming out and another stream coming in? They yield the right of way to each other. They're both in the same line, but they yield the right of way to each other. They don't have any white line in the road, but they yield to each other to see that the job is done and done properly. A lazy ant, they kill her. An ant from another colony, they definitely gather up and kill them. And let the other ants in other colonies know, you're not coming into our colony. We've allowed so many ants to come into the industrial side of America that we no longer hold ownership of the industrial systems in America. They are owned by outside people, and they are the people that are the $450 billion I read. One of them, he's worth $450 billion, one man. What does he own? He owns industries. Where? In America. And he's got $450 billion. Just right down the road from us, we have an automobile plant turning out billions and billions of dollars, working people like slaves, breaking all of the rules that America has, all of the rules that the unions in America have put together are being broke in this plant. They work men 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. That will kill any family. It will kill any family. It will kill a family for a man to be gone 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, making money and come home and not have any kind of home life. The ant takes care of its young. This man doing that, he can't take care of his young. He can throw money at him. He can throw money at his wife. He can do this, but he can't. But the problem is he went and got that job, and now he's working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. He thinks he needs to buy a bigger house. So he's not like the ant. He goes and gets more than he can take care of. And now he has to work 12 hours a day because he's come under that regime. And he's been robbed of his life. You say, Brother Peter, you're a preacher. Yes, I am. But I'm not stupid. I know the ways of the world are coming into the United States of America to kill the people off, to kill the Christians off, to make communities of non-English speaking people, and they don't try to learn to speak it either. They're comfortable. Anywhere on the Canadian side of the United States, you can find whole villages, whole places that are French-speaking towns. You can go down toward Mexico, into Texas. You find whole towns, Spanish-speaking. There's one thing I got to commend the Spanish people for right here in the United States. My daughter runs a huge trailer park. If she had her way, she wouldn't have an American in there. They'd all be Spanish people. They work hard. They pay their rent. Our city will tell you that the Spanish people pay their light bills before they're due. They work hard. They keep their community right. Yes, they have their weekend music and stuff, but other than that, they work hard all week. And they pay their bills and they pay their rent. And they keep the yards clean. And they improve their trailers. What's the difference? See, they come in and they've realized what we have. And they like what we have and they treat it right. And they live right and they got it right and they got it good. And so that's the thing. We have slipped in America and allowed other countries to come in, and some do what we used to do. Now, they work unwearily until the work is done. That's something we used to do before we had an 8-hour workday. If it took 12 hours, we'd do it. But we weren't forced by another country to do it. It was our desire to do it. The farmers of old didn't owe big debts. They took care of their debts. They kept them up. They tried not to. If they needed another plow and the one they've got wasn't completely wore out, they weren't going to buy another plow. You can go buy farm equipment today. You can go buy big, huge farms today that have a set of harrows out there that cost $30,000 or more. And because they didn't grease them properly, because they didn't do some things, they got 2 years out of it and they say it's squeaking now. I got problems and I'd have to take all these off to fix those 2 inside ones, so I'm going to park it and just buy another one. And that's what's happened in America with American people. We've got slothful. Now look at this ant. He works quietly without show. He works until the work is done. And they work together. They have an astonishing system. It's organized to the best good of the whole community. This is Bible. I'm telling you Bible. Open your Bible to Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and see what God is trying to teach man. He's trying to teach man to go back where he belongs and do what he's supposed to do. They are ingenious carpenters. When they need something, they build it. They are ingenious masons. When they have a place where there's a crack in the wall or a leak where water came in or air came in or something came in that's not supposed to be there, they fix it. They make up their mortar and they patch it up. And they organize themselves on what's best for the whole community. All of them aren't carpenters, but there are majorities that are. All of them aren't masons, but there's a majority that are. All of them don't come out and gather food. Some of them are soldiers. They stand at the gate. And anything that does not belong in there is not coming in there. They examine the food that comes by. There is food they could take in there that would tank their food supply. And then they're going to carry it in there. There are ants that watch out for those things. They're ingenious critters that build their own system of homes and underground tunnels. They keep their homes scrumptiously clean. They don't have the problem we have with our houses. This house right here, I have a problem keeping it bug-free. I live in the South where there's lots of bugs. There are bugs that will invade your home. We have now a new strain, or not a new strain, but an old strain, but there's a roach called a German roach, and it's a little bitty black roach. And once they ever start coming in from outside, wherever they've been outside, and they start coming in, they don't come in one at a time. They come in 1,000 at a time. You can drive them out of your kitchen. Then you find them in the bathroom. You drive them out of the bathroom, you find them in the living room. All you're doing is driving them away. You can't seem to kill them or get rid of them. They're such a nuisance. And so this is what's happened in our country. We've allowed these things, different things, to come in, and you can't drive them out. You can move them from one state to another. You can move them from one place to another, but you're not going to drive them out. Why? Because they found out that they can get the money here, and they're willing to do any kind of tactic to get it. All right, they keep their homes clean. If there's one among them that exists without a definite job in his life to help meet the needs of the community, not one. is allowed to live that doesn't meet the qualifications. They fight to death to protect their own homes and their young from enemies. They can spot an enemy. Can we spot an enemy? No, we can't spot an enemy. You know why we don't spot an enemy? Because of money. Huge sums of money being poured in. You got to realize, if a man pours $1 million or $100 million into a project here in the United States, he's looking to take $500 million back or more. So you got to realize that. They are intelligent and wise. They carry out life's work without being forced to do so by a guide or overseer or ruler. They don't need a guide, overseer, or ruler. God made them the way He made them, and He set them in the place He set them, and they've maintained their way. God put Adam in the Garden of Eden, and Adam sinned and tainted the whole thing. And since the whole world has been tainted. Well, look, our time's come and gone. Study Ecclesiastes and see where we stand today with God and with the world. Are we doing what God said? Are we keeping the enemy out, or are we inviting the enemy in that says, no God for me? And then we sanction them, all for money purposes. We sanction them. They, our auto plant that we have here, our people that work there will tell you that all of those people that are from the other countries in that auto plant have their own gods in their offices. Oh, they might look to you or I, they might look not to anything, but that's what them people worship. They worship that God made with hands. They worship those things. And they have shrines in some of these places, and you can go in and these shrines, they have stuff that is not brought out to the general public as a general rule. And so, but it's there, and we allow that. Now we need to look at the ant. We are a bunch of sluggards in the United States, and we need to look at the ant. We need to look at what the Bible says. And the Bible says, look at the ant. We are in Ecclesiastes chapter 6. And this is one of the things the Lord says to do. He said, calling the outsider that's come in to ravage America is like an adulteress. And she is an apostate. This adulteress, this great monstrous adulteress from another country who has come in to rape and pillage the people of the United States of America and take their money back to Asia or wherever they come from. They're apostates. They are deceptive. They flatter people when they come in and say, well, we'll do this if you'll do this, and they break all the rules they get. For their dollar, an American dollar from an American man, he's going to get 10 cents worth. But a foreigner come in, he's going to get $1 back for every dollar he brings in. And he knows that, and that's why they're coming in here. They're like wormwood. They're like, there's no end of destructiveness in them. Don't you think they don't want to take America over? And they're going to, by the way. God's going to allow that. God's going to step back one of these days, and He's going to say, okay, let's see. China's got a big foothold over here in Texas. Got a big foothold over here in Louisiana. Got a big foothold over here all the way up into the Carolinas. Got a big foothold over here all the way up to the state of Maine, right on the Canadian border. Got a huge foothold over on the West Coast. And if they pull all of their footholds together, they can start stepping. And we see the picture of that great monster stepping on cities and doing that. These guys can do that. Hey, it says their feet go down to death. It says in the Bible, they lay hold on hell. Because then they've got a hold of hell and they're pulling hell with them, all their little gods and everything. And the Bible said their way is unpredictable. People think, well, I'm going to let this company come in and we can predict what they do. Forget it. They'll corrupt enough people on the way in so that they'll say, those that are in authority, hey, you let me do this back there and I let you have this bunch of money or whatever. They ruin your reputation. They cause years of trouble. They bring material ruin to the person that's supposed to have material good. They bring material ruin. By doing what they know exactly how to do it. Every person I know that works in one of these plants around here that does this has their credit cards maxed out. Because they're looking at that amount of money they're taking home, but they're ruining their families doing it. One of the first guys I had dealings with in my church that went to work at one of those plants down there, working 12 hours a day, coming home, and his wife went to work 12 hours a day, and they had 4 or 5 kids, and they had bought a boat, which they had no time to use. They had bought a camper, which they had no time to take it out and use it. They had bought new cars, which they had no way to pay for them except they keep working these 24 hours a day, him 12 and her 12, working 2 jobs, got the kids in the middle. I said, you folks don't seem to realize it, but you're headed for divorce. No, we're not headed for divorce. I said, you are, because you're headed for bankruptcy. You're headed for bankruptcy and you're headed for divorce. You've dropped out of the church, you can't come to church, you can't afford to tithe, because you got yourself where you got yourself, and doing that. So, here we are. We're in a place of ruin. We're in a place of years of trouble. We're in a place of material ruin. We're in a place of bad health for thousands of people, including my wife and I. We have brought remorse to some things. We have reduced to wickedness in most of our places in the United States today. We have caused a lot of eternal ruin. We've got a lot of people that are eternally ruined, and they're going to stay that way. Well, our time is really, I have passed by 8 minutes our time that I was supposed to be a 30-minute thing. So I'm going to leave for now. But get yourself in the book of Ecclesiastes and see where we are today as a Christian. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.